impromptu video where I'm going to be taking a look at this. This is Parallels Workstation, a very old piece of virtualization software. Windows. Well, I say very old. It's still developed, but only for Mac. Parallels as a company are very, very much focused on Mac now, rather than Windows. I guess it's more of a... so this was developed as their first product, Parallels as it were. This was a paid piece of software that you could buy for virtualization. It was mainly competing against VMware Workstation, VirtualBox, which was now by version 6 here, was owned by Oracle, or Sun. Also on the Linux side of things, competing against QEMU or QEMU and KVM virtualizer or hypervisor, and of course against Microsoft's acquisition in the form of Kinectic's Virtual PC, which they renamed to Microsoft Virtual PC, which was also paid but later free. It was a bit odd. Anyway, so the idea of a piece of software like this is that you can run another operating system on your existing computer without having to, I don't know, so it's sort of, without having to dual boot, without having to run a second, if you're doing server virtualization, without having to run multiple servers. You can put everything on one machine. It's basically just going to be a video taking a look at old virtualization software. In this case, Parallels Workstation 6, which was the latest version they did. There isn't a ton of information. This is pretty much all you get. The software, I don't think it was particularly popular on Windows. From what I can tell, people talking about it on forums and stuff, it lagged behind VMware, especially in a lot of regards. Yeah, we'll go ahead and install it, and we'll just kind of explore Parallels Workstation, what it's like, for whatever reason. So we're going to run the installer here, which will probably pop up a little thingy in a minute. Did I actually run it? I did. There we go. The website's still up. You can go there, and it'll tell you about Parallels Desktop for Mac and things like that. But I think most of their products are sort of aimed at making things really easy. The idea is that it's just a, run, does it, no real complications, It seems to be a multi-step installer from what I've been looking at. It's very step by step, and I did try and run this on my laptop here, but it doesn't seem to like Windows 10. It seems to have a bit of a fit when it sees anything resembling Hyper-V. So this is why we're on a nice Windows 7 base. So hopefully something that's a bit more era appropriate should be happier for it. I do have a couple of VMs pre-built just to kind of show off. I seem to be keeping the desktop rather clean. I've got all sorts of random Microsoft stuff. I think I've got... Do I have Office on here? I do. This is the extreme Microsoft build. So there's all sorts of stuff on here. There's Visual Studio 2010. All the Silverlight you could ever want. But no one wants any Silverlight. But hey, there's even whatever the hell this is. XNA Game Studio, if that's something you're interested in, all the expression shit as well. Anything you could Microsoft could give you. From what I can tell, version 6 sort of added 64-bit support. But in here we've got there's some actual extra tools, things like Parallel Convert, Parallel Disk Tool, Parallel Mount, Parallel Mount. service, a bunch of stuff. Most of this we've never touched, but some of it, I mean, there's things like VNC server, which is kind of neat. Well, I'll wait for that. Let's go ahead and start up Parallels Workstation here. Gives you this fancy little loading, but I don't say that it's activated. So luckily we do have an activation key. Magically. Gonna play some amazing music. So we'll just make a magical product key here. Yep, sorry, gotta cut it short. And just click activate. And amazingly, it works. And it gives you a little stamp as well. And it just so it gives you some kind of extreme. I don't know what extreme gives you over the regular version, but whatever. But hey, you can close that and just don't register. And yeah, welcome to Parallels Workstation Extreme. So I guess we'll have a look. We've got getting started. Just give us an idea of. And you get a very, very basic manual. Oh, okay, there we go. Extreme allows you to do assign physical PCIe Express devices directly to virtual machines. Oh, that's neat. Okay. There we go. Founded in 1999. So, you know, they're almost as old as VMware is, but just a lot smaller in terms of scale, as it were. So what we can do from here is we can look at some of the preferences. So it says that initialization for Intel VTD failed. I don't know why. It just says that the DMAR ACPI table is not found. I don't know why. Maybe it's because it only supports the Intel and not the AMD version, maybe? Yeah, I seem to get this error on everything. But it seems to work fine anyway, so... There you go, things like memory, obviously I just kind of let it do its thing, keyboard settings, and where it sticks. Stuff, USB, worky bits and bobs. You can have host-only networks and shared networks and things like that, just like with other virtualization softwares. So it looks like only 2.2 was available by this point, so they used to kind of bump the version numbers up quite a bit by the looks of it. And it would have cost $50 back in the day. So what else can we do? We can download from a website apparently. There's also this migrate from PC thing, which I think is, yeah, this is the Parallels transporter with this very Aqua looking interface. So the way you do it is you basically take this transporter agent thing, and this will take a computer and create a virtual machine out of it. To do that, you can do it over the network. You allow it, obviously. And then you just click it, and then it literally just drags over the existing computer to this. So that's kind of a neat feature, I guess, if you've got an existing computer that you want to sort of replicate. What we're going to do is we're going to add an existing virtual machine. Because I have existing virtual machines. I've got a couple. They're in here. So I've got one that is Ubuntu 10.04, which would have been, I think that would have been the latest LTS release, assuming we did LTS releases at the time. So we're going to do this one first. So it comes in the form of these PBS files. Let's do it next. Just copied it. And it's just set up as a very basic VM really. So you've got like the hard drive, which is actually a folder with some stuff in it. I'm going to configure this. So you can see it's set to Ubuntu Linux, but it also has built-in. It's got Windows support up to Windows 7, but also all the way back to Windows 3.1 and other Windows is. This is Chrome OS. I've never tried running Chrome OS in a virtualizer, so in a VM. This also supports Debian, Fedora, CentOS, SUSE, Red Hat, and Driva. and other Linuxes. There's also FreeBSD, OS2 in there as well, DOS, Solaris. Obviously something like Virtual PC. The operating system has supported Virtual PC is quite a lot less. You have things like Windows 98, onto Vista, OS2, and that's kind of it really. It's not designed for Linux. This is really designed for Windows and OS2. But basically, most pieces of virtualization software, other than MU and KVM really, will have some sort of integration tools that you can install, which allows things like drag and drop or shared copy and paste, shared clipboards basically, and other things like that, and that's designed to sort of integrate the VM into the system. But you can see the different options here. You can have these VMs start automatically. There's different. I don't really care about that because I'm recording it separately. So you can also do some like isolation and security and stuff. But you can also adjust the hardware. So you've got like video settings. There's no 3D acceleration as far as I know, which is a big sort of caveat compared to something like VirtualBox or VMware, which does have 3D. There's obviously floppy disks and all sorts of other support for different things. You can connect up the floppy disk, actually connect up the hard disk here. I'll go ahead and I'm not authorized to perform this action. Good to know. That's nice. We'll go ahead and start this up in a minute, but actually we'll just start up now and see what happens. Whatever. So you can see he's trying to boot from something, but obviously he's got nothing to boot from. That's fine. I didn't even know that was enabled, or how to enable that, or disable it. So this will hopefully boot up into Ubuntu 10.04, but we'll see. It might not do. I don't know. There we go. It'll take a while. It's checking my disk for errors. That's nice. Probably because it didn't boot nicely last time. Disable Dream Scene here for max performance. But it is just a piece of virtualization software, so it does what it says in the tin. You know, that means you have features like... Okay. You know, you have features like... There is a coherence feature, which I think only really works with, like... I'll try Windows XP in a minute. But things like, yeah, the Parallels tools, which I can't remember what it is. I don't think there's Parallels tools for this, but there might be. If it says reinstall, then it probably means that it's installed. But you can do things like snapshots. So there's no snapshots available here, but you can do things like snapshots. You can see the mouse transitions automatically. Because I think it's actually installed here. So this is just an old version of Ubuntu. Not a bad one though, 10 but whatever. What is the quickest? It's not super quick because it's not drive here, but you can do things like sharing, so you can share folders, and keyboard bits, all sorts of sound. Especially snapshots takes a copy of the hard drive, and then you can continue on. And yeah, it is an LTS release, so it's supported up to 2013. Which is funny because I think LTS release is now like 10 years or something crazy. So we go to the terminal, for example, to say, and that tells us that it's that 2.6.32 kernel or whatever. Really standard virtual machine, nothing crazy about it. So sounds on, sound thing. Do we have sound? I don't know. It's Ubuntu waiting for system to respond. Yeah, this is the Linux experience right here. It might not have sound. I don't know. It probably won't work. It might not have the right drivers. Who knows? But anyway, we'll just shut it down here. Jenkins, oh, it's over there. For some reason. You can see, it works. It is a piece of software. and it boots. But we can go a little bit extreme with it. Extreme! And so the other VM I have here is Windows NT 3.51. Well, let it shut down properly, but this is... yeah, NT 3.51. So NT 3.51 was a release... a fairly early release of Windows NT. I'm not going to go into the history of Windows here, but basically it was before Windows 4, Windows NT 4, and it was after Windows NT 3.5. So it's a whole mess. It's a whole mess. Anyway, we're going to go ahead and port this VM here. So this one, as you can see, is 384 megs of memory, 24 megs of video RAM. Would have been overkill back then. Nothing would have had 24 megs of video memory. 384 megs of main memory. That would have been pretty alright. That would have been very good for a server back then. I mean, so we're talking NT 3.51 here. We're talking 1994, I think. So NT 3.51. This was 1995. So this was before they did NT 4, which had Windows 95, the Windows 95 shell. This does not. This was the last one with the Windows 3.1 shell. Now, this is technically not just NT 3.51. This is something called... I don't know if they'll have... They probably won't have a... They do. Something called Citrix WinFrame. So this is a special version. And this was basically, yeah, predecessor to NT4 terminal server, which was released way later on. So we'll go ahead and start this up. Go into this. So you can see this. This version, the way this is installed, ignore the fact this is Windows 2000 there. This install of WinFrame is weird. I can't remember how I did it, but it works, and so I don't care. This is a slightly cursed version of NT 3.51, okay? But yeah, it's multi-processor, so we actually have 2 cores running right now. 384 megs of memory. I haven't tried this yet, but I could try this actually. Ignore that, that's just using a generic display driver, because yeah, don't worry. There's a lot of hours in this system, in this install. But here you are, welcome to Citrix WinFrame version 1.8. This is from 1999. So that's how long they kept this, this version of Citrix WinFrame going, long after terminal services was a thing. And I mean, this is the same release date as Windows 2000. But they kept it going. This is just updates, obviously. The original release was back in... I mean, what does it say? 95, so... But yeah. To be honest, this is... Oops. Okay. So you can say this is... it. It's a terminal server. Because it's NT, you have a proper logon. I think this is the logon. I can't remember. Password expired must be changed. Before I disable that. There's nothing stopping you just changing to the same password. As far as I know. Yeah. So it'll go ahead and log me in here. I think it is. I think it's logging me in. No? Okay, that's fine. That's it, trying to connect to NetWare. I haven't got anything NetWare related set up. If you heard a sound, there was a sound. I don't know. Still booting. I think it's still booting up. But anyway, welcome to Citrix WinFrame. So as you can see, it's still the old Windows 3.1 interface, but you have this special ICA administrator toolbar for all your administrative needs. Apparently I have that open. Right. This has a few bits installed, but not much. But I do want to try something out later, but not right now. But so we have, all the standard Windows 3.1 stuff in here. We have, except it's all called WinFrame, as opposed to. But you've got all the standard bits and bobs. There's a users folder. There's whatever that is. Drivers. There's where I put some drivers. NC 4.5 folder. It's all, it's all pretty standard in terms of what it looks like. The special stuff is this Citrix software. It was a pain to get this going because there's a whole bunch of like licensing bullshit involved. It's a nightmare. But if you are familiar with Windows 3.1, then you're probably pretty familiar with Windows NT 3.51 in terms of the way it looks. Anyway, the shell is pretty much the same. Obviously, the operating system underlying it all is very different. But so you got things like this server folder with users and shares, things like that. You've got services, which aren't really a thing in. For example, we can have things be enabled as a service. You've got things like kind of a device manager. There was no plug and play. Everything required a driver, but there wasn't at this point. NT4 didn't have plug and play. Plug and play wasn't introduced until the into Windows NT into Windows 2000. Audio does work, if I recall, or it should do. Why it's so quiet, but there you go. It does work. All your standard sounds, But, it is just Windows. But it is quite a cool release of Windows because of all the weird extra bits. Close that, we can go to accessories, and you get standard accessories, things like Windows Media Player. I think there is MIDI. Got a clue. Is there MIDI? Do we have like clock.avi or something to play? Maybe? No? Oh, okay. I was hoping for like Canyon.mid or something. I don't know if that's not in this. Play CDs. Administrative tools obviously is filled with a lot of stuff. So we'll take a look at that later. Yeah, so this is the latest. This is not quite the latest version. This is the almost latest version of Total Commander running on NT 3.51 with 0 modifications. The problem is you kind of have to hope that you can press the right button. There, press hit 2. It's not registered, but this stays on top all the time as well. You can't get rid of this, but it actually does run somehow like pure bullshit, I think. Yep, there you go. 2025. But you can run this on Windows 10 as well, so not stopping it. And the toolbar launches a lot of the same stuff as what's in here. So you've got things like the disk administrator, which this launches, I think. Oh no, this is the Citrix connection configuration. IPX and TCP, okay? This is the licensing. We have a base license, which is what we need. It's bullshit. This is the server administration tool. Obviously, there's no cursor integration or anything like that here. Fucking hell. This is not something which is officially supported, I don't think. This is definitely like an extreme use case for this. The fact that it works is a miracle. The fact that I managed to bodge half of this into working is a miracle. I did try and find like sound drivers. I think I found sound drivers for like OS 2 and some other random bullshit operating systems, but not this, unfortunately. So unless someone can port the Windows 95 driver or Windows 2000 driver to it, but yes, you can see you could administer a whole cluster of different servers from here. As you can see, this is just the one server. There's a whole host of different stuff. So there's the different IC clients. So you can configure the different clients. DOS, you can even run it from. The load balancing administration is right in the next one. But you can see you can load all of this sort of thing from here as well. It's this one. This is the help. That's nice. It's got help just in case you need help, which you probably do because it's. I don't know what this does, to be honest. Never tried this. Oh, I see it's still trying to load. I don't know how this works. I've never tried it. I don't know what it does, so that's good. And this one, which is just connection information. Shadowing, huh? Yeah, shadowing is a feature that I've tried to understand, but I can't. I really don't know what this is, or how this works, but hey, whatever. I don't know what it's doing now, but it's doing something. Yeah, there's a shadow button now. Oh, okay, this allows you to monitor the actions of other users. This is slightly cursed, but hey. What else is there? Oh, there's all sorts of things like printers, C2 security managers, heap backups. So obviously we're on a domain. There's a bunch of user accounts. Obviously there's mine. So this is the main user manager for like permissions and things like that. The server manager, which does the same stuff we've already seen before. Some of this is Windows, some of this is the disk administrator, which looks scarily like fucking modern Windows, to be honest. In some ways, it's a 3 gig disk, which would have been fine at the time. I think I can't tell. Use a profile editor so you can edit, what applications they have access to and things like that. A diagnostic tool so you can see things like OS version. It was installed, the number of service packs, the devices, hardware, memory, for example. We're using like no memory at all. This is an overkill system. I think we've already seen this one. Yeah. Published application. I just tried that. I don't know what it does. C2 Security Manager. What does this do? I haven't tried that one before. Obviously, I can't really do the NetWare user access thing. I haven't tried to run NetWare on this. I particularly think it would be very happy with me. This C2 Security Manager doesn't do much at all. Apparently we're on low security. That's good. I actually have this is an FTP server running. I don't know if this is actually running yet, but. So, is it running? Apparently it's set to that IP. Apparently it's online. So I don't know if do I have like FileZilla on here or something? Okay. Help. What am I doing? Am I in? I'm not connected. Is there any net? If there is there IP config? There is. It is 10.37.130.4. Well, that's good at least. There we go. So we are now connected to Citrix WinFrame. And there is a canyon.mid. Christ. And there is clock.avi. So you can see we are connected. It's connected into our username here. So we can go ahead and just minimize this background. Just sit there. One thing we can do is, so yeah, we're going to do accessories, right? Yeah. We'll go ahead and open. That's why I'm in the wrong bloody folder. Yeah, there we go. So you have our beautiful clock.avi. Beautiful. Do we have... So, we are connected to the server now, so we can just sit here and browse and edit the file system as we please. Yeah, we do have Internet Explorer on here, some version. I think this is the what version of Explorer this is. 1.5 by the looks of it, so it's not particularly useful. I think this was the last native 32-bit version of Internet Explorer they did for this version of Windows. A proper full NT 32-bit. I don't think they ever did another one. Hence why I'm using 1.5 here, but I probably could install a version. Yeah. But we can access, for example, we can access, you know, yes, so we can access an old site which supports, you know, light browsing. We can go back to 1995, we can go to Microsoft.com, we can let it do that in the background. You can do, you know, a lot with this, really. You know, you could run a web server, you can run... The idea, obviously, behind this WinFrame thing is to be able to connect to it. Sort of, the whole WinFrame thing was a, you know, remote desktop solution. And to access applications and things like that, so... Yeah, it's a really interesting... program. I guess they changed the name at some point. Yeah, so this is WinFrame plus WinFrame. There's a bunch of different nice-ups in here. I can't remember what that is. I think this is like, yeah, the sort of customized version of WinFrame I put together to make it all work on here. Slightly customized anyway. I think Internet Explorer crashed. Oh no, it's still going. It just gave up, I think. Because it's that, I think. www. Receiving a HTML document. Well, that's a good start at least. Yeah, so in here is a bunch of stuff. The tools is what we want. Boom. Put it in here, so oh wow, oh my. So this is... Here's a bunch of instructional PDFs. There's all sorts in here. There was a version for... There was a Macintosh client. So yeah, so the idea is you ran a client on the system, and there was a load of different ones available. So there's like a Java one here by the looks of it. There's a Java client, so you can run it on a bunch of operating systems. There's one for Unix. This is 32-bit Windows. In 32, there's even like somehow a web one. Windows web clients. I'd be worried about how that works. Got 2 disks here. So just set up. Hopefully, maybe. So this should be the ICA client, and you can saw there was quite a few in there. Anything useful? I don't know. Has it installed it? Just through pure determination, or is it just... I don't know what it's doing. The right incompatibility mode for that. Again. There we go. Fetching purple. Fancy. Yeah, we'll just install it now, I don't care. That's fine. So we'll just install this here. We get a little thing, and there's also a disk 2, which I guess it accessed automatically. Okay, cool. Some boot floppies. Multiple, yeah, there's multiple boot floppies involved. It's funky. But all the different clients are installed. I don't know if there's maybe... I'm sure there's probably newer versions, but these ones work. They're the ones that come with it, so screw it. So what you get is this thing called Citrix Program Neighborhood. No, it's fetching 90s artwork, which I quite like, and you get this. So, connection. We're learning our local area connection. Just call it WinFrame for now. There's lots of different protocols. We're using TCP/IP. On the server, just gonna click next. We need to put in our username and our password. And we can put in a domain, which I think should do this. But since use that for everything. So a password here. It's going to use one, at least use 6 colors, and we'll use 68. It's fine. We'll just run it to desktop. It's fine. Finish, and it adds it here. In theory, all we have to do is just double click. This is after, by the way, a lot of setup on the server side, if I recall, to make this work. It was, and on, yeah, there was a lot more setup behind this to make this work. So the fact that this does is insane. If we close this, I don't close it. So obviously we can log off here, and it will. I think it's killed the FTP server or something. But I need to add the FTP server to my servers, but you can leave this running now. Just minimize it. I don't know if we can sort of connect to it. It's not running anymore. I need to add that to proper service, but yeah. And then this is it. This is it. Welcome to. I mean, it's not bad, is it? Obviously, this is local, but this is what you could do back then. You could, and this was very, very early remote desktop stuff. I think, if I recall, you know, it's not perfect, but I'm sure this would have been really awesome back in the day. And this is a proper multi-user system. So I mean, getting all the security right probably would have been a headache back then. But yeah, this is a proper system. Sound should work. There's also encryption, basic encryption, I think. So yeah, you can have an encrypted connection. So I don't know if that works immediately, but there are settings to change that make it so other users can't shut it down. But I haven't tried that. I also haven't tried accessing this on another computer, which I might try in a minute. There you go, there's sound. It sounds beautiful, doesn't it? But it all works. It's all pretty clever, but we might make a new user here with limited permissions, just so I can try it on here. My laptop here. So we've got some. You know, we can play solitaire. Very importantly, we can play solitaire. So I would be able to play solitaire if I could do anything. The cards have been given. So what do we be at the bottom here? Yeah, War FTP Daemon, I can say it. So that will be an FTP server that will automatically start up when we start the system up, so we can access that automatically. With, you know, minimal security, but hey, it's fine. You can't really access much. Literally can't access anything outside of this server. What's nice is the cursor goes on. Obviously, this old computer is not having a great time running this right now, but that's okay. It's one of those where I think this requires a little bit of investigation into the networking. Let's have a look. I think I'd have to somehow forward this. So I guess what we can do is create a new application. We'll just call it Solitaire. Explicit. That's fine, yep. Command line? No, we'll just browse for it. That's fine. I don't know where it would be. System. I'm guessing it's system 32 then. so a sol. It's fine. Location total bar. Okay. Bit to it, doesn't it? Administrators and users. Okay. Yep. Just that one. Oh, I see. So you can actually have multiple servers to be able to, so you can do like load balancing and things like that between multiple servers. Okay, so if we should be able to now let it log off. Wait, and an IP connection. We'll do that again. Okay, so we want to do. Okay, let's just try putting in the IP address manually. Run a separate window, seamless window. Okay. I don't know what that's going to do. So this is called WinFrame VMs. Let's just try and put that in. No, it doesn't like that, does it? So how do we specify this? You can write okay, let's write the ICA file. Okay. Okay, that's fine. That's fine. Basic. Just call it solid there. I'm saying with the ICA extension, okay. No. Okay, so that wrote a file somewhere. Where I haven't got a clue. There, maybe? No. There, maybe? Ah, there it is. So we can actually... this should be like ultimate admin access literally everything. Thank you. I just have to like... the magic of just setting things up in a way that works. Okay. Let's see if this does it. Oh. Oh, okay. So this should load it up. And immediately should just run solitaire. But, it's not doing that. I'll just be leaving it. Let's try and connect. Nah. So obviously... I don't know, it's a little bit complicated. I'm still not quite adept at using this. Mostly because it's ancient, weird voodoo magic to even get this to run correctly. Just the client-side stuff. Yeah, there's just a lot of weird settings and weird shit that you gotta run it. It's kind of a nightmare. But I think that's pretty much everything I can show you. For now. That is Parallels Workstation. That is Citrix WinFrame. Thank you very much for watching what is probably a bit of a mess of a video just looking at this. Luckily I did a lot of, like I said, the work beforehand for Citrix WinFrame. This was all done obviously in Parallels Workstation, but not on this computer. It's on a different one. But it's a very cool operating system, I think, WinFrame. It's one of those old, weird little pockets of server and workstation-y history. Obviously, a lot of this technology would be put into Windows. In Windows NT 4 Server, Terminal Server Edition, and of course Windows 2000 Terminal Server. So that's where a lot of the technology that comes from. Obviously, that would evolve into things like RGP and things like that. So it's all got an origin. But go ahead and shut down the computer here because I think this little computer suffered enough. We'll just force it to shut down. I'm sure it won't complain. You know, the fact that obviously it's NT, so it's early NT, so it's got full multi-processor support. As you can see, it's running 2 CPUs. It's got, obviously we've got 384 megs of memory. I think you could throw at least 512 megs at this, maybe multiple gigabytes. It really depends how many users you're using this concurrently. And the idea is that you could publish applications and that you can access them via a Unix workstation or anything like that. It was all very flexible. This is a very basic use case. What I'm doing. For now, thank you very much for watching. Little weird video, but bye bye.